When my wife said she wanted a footrest for under the desk, I immediately started designing her one. I knew she probably wanted it then, but think how much better it would be in 3 weeks. The first thing I needed to do was see which angle felt comfortable, and the best way I knew to do this was to run a test. The last thing you'd want to do is have a footrest that was too uncomfortable to use. As I tested on this to see which foot positions were the best, I began to realize I may not actually like this design. But I had another thing in mind too. What if the footrest could move at the exact pivot point of your leg? Kind of like your legs are just swinging, but actually supported by the footrest. I figured the best way to get this information was to get this data in real time. Then from here, all we had to do was get the radius of the arc. So we draw a line between 2 points and find the center. Then we take the distance from the center of that line to the arc. This gives us the radius. I had these bearings left over from when I built the sawmill and thought it would be cool to have kind of like a skateboard that runs on a track. Once I figured out a rough outline, I drew in the bearings to see how much travel would actually work. I had some cherry boards laying around that were just the right thickness, so I decided to use those to make this. The next thing to figure out was how to attach these bearings on the footrest. Since these were going to be in a channel, they couldn't stick out too far. They needed to fit fairly flush. I searched through every possible combination of bolt I had in the shop, and nothing fit. But right as I was about to go back to the drawing board, I decided to try these hex bolt inserts that I often use, and these things were exactly what I needed. So I'll take the win here. With everything the right thickness, the only thing that was left to do here was cut these down to sizes that would fit on the CNC. Now it was time to test my designing skills and go ahead and cut these out on the CNC. This thing just randomly tried to drive the bit through the table. After a few choice words and a firm talking to, we were back in action. These wound up cutting pretty well. I used 3D tabs on these, and with the cherry, they were pretty easy to pop off. Now to just clean up any remaining tabs with the trim bit. Here I am measuring to see what thickness I need to plane the cross braces to. While YouTube was busy with my last video, sharing it with cake baking channels, unrelated video games, and dentless auto repair, I started thinking of a few things. 1. Why doesn't it suggest my videos to anything closely related? 2. Is there a big woodworking cake baking community that I don't know about? And 3. If you want to help rectify this, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now all that was left was to cut these cross braces to the right height. This was kind of a pain, but I didn't want to plane off half an inch on this, so I decided to rip off about 3/8 of an inch. Since this is for the platform where you rest your feet, I didn't have that many wide boards laying around. I really didn't want to join two together for this, so I had to make this work. While I was busy doing everything else, I had some more threaded inserts coming. I was about to find out that the vendor I ordered them from, they were just a little bit different. Of course, these new ones I got, they're just like a fraction off. So I'm going to have to find a way to sand these down just a hair. Since this doesn't have to be spectacular, I use this to screw in, this to lock it. I know it's going to make a couple turns here, I think. I don't really know what I was babbling about here. I'm just using a bolt with a nut to lock it in place here. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. I need this to go in perfectly square. And the problem is, it kind of wants to go in at an angle. So I need something to line it up. So I'm thinking I feed this through the bottom of here. Send it up through here. Screw this on until it bites enough to where it can't really get out of shift here. I think that'll help. So I'll just put some water in here for now. Oh shit. I didn't need that to go up through there. It actually screwed this up and locked it in place. It was supposed to just rest. Well, we'll adjust that. But that's perfectly square. Yeah. Okay. These holes needed to be drilled from the top of this, which is actually the bottom, through into the step. The reason for this is once you assemble and glue the base together, you would actually have to glue the footrest piece inside there at the same time because those bearings fit in the pocket. The best way for me to do this was to have these removable. This way I could assemble one early, then assemble the second one attached to the base. What you see here is the straw breaking the camel's back on my 30-year-old drill press. There's about to be some changes with this thing. And by changes, I mean there's about to be a new sheriff in town. I'm not going to know what to do without the 1/8 of an inch run out, the wrench to change it, and sometimes the collet just falling out for no reason on the ground. But we'll touch on that later. Let's get back to the footrest. If anybody knows a better way to recess the top of these, let me know. I feel like there should be a custom drill bit or something, but I haven't found anything. I needed some very specific length furniture bolts for this, and since you can never have too many bolts, I just ordered some from Amazon. I decided the best look on these would just be a simple chamfer. I stood this up with some shims to try to get the correct spacing. Once the cross members are cut and glued, there's no going back. the sled that is the footrest, these are going to get a full round over on the front and the back. That way if you want to rest the arch of your foot on it, it's not such a harsh corner. Here I didn't feel like cutting another piece, and since this piece had notches out of it, I decided I'd just put a curve on the back of this. This is going to be hidden anyway. If anything, it's just going to add a little extra flair to it. This didn't need to have laser-like precision or anything, so I just cut as close as I could on the bandsaw. A little bit of sanding after that, and it would be good to go. Round 2 of doing the thing that I hate to do, and that is epoxying. If you've watched my videos, you know I have a love-hate relationship with epoxy. So every time I have to use it, I try to use it sparingly. Next thing I did was take it over to the joiner to take the rest of this off. This right here is really just extreme overkill for this. These things are already kind of a dado joint, and these are going to be sitting on the floor. It's not like they're going to take a lot of abuse. Even though at this point I'd test fit this thing 15 times, it just felt good for this to go together. I didn't really have a plan for this glue up. I just needed a flat surface, a few clamps, and then I would adjust it as I went. I've glued things together 1,000 times. What could possibly go wrong? This is that moment where you realize a table you always thought was flat is absolutely not flat. On the bright side, the section I did glue it on, it was actually fairly flat. It only took a little bit of extra sanding to get this down perfect. Now that everything was smooth on this, it was time to move into the end game. That armor seal really brings out the color in this cherry wood. Here you can see why I made these removable. In order for this to go in that channel with the base already glued together, one of these had to be attached while it was in the base. This was a long process and total overkill for something you're only going to make 2 of, but it was absolutely worth it at this moment. As I edit this video, we've been using these footrests for a few weeks now, and they work really good as a footrest. Would a footrest ever need to be this complicated? Absolutely not. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I have some crazy stuff going on right now in the shop. It's definitely something you'll want to check out. So as usual, if you made it this far in the video, like and subscribe. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. There's also something else that arrived at the shop. I'm pretty excited about this. My wife, on the other hand, yeah, not so much. This full-size drill press is as heavy as a dump truck. It was fairly difficult to stand up by myself, but man, once I got it set up, I can't wait to use this in the future. The chapter of that Ryobi drill press at my house is officially closed.